Story 1. ITA for refusing to let my in-laws stay with us after they trashed my house last time. So, here is the situation. A couple of years ago, my wife's F-34 brother John, M36, and his wife Sarah, F-35 were going through a rough patch and needed a place to stay for a few weeks while they figured things out. My wife, being the caring person she is, asked me M37 if they could stay with us temporarily, and I agreed because family is family, right? Well, the few weeks turned into nearly 4 months. During that time, they completely took advantage of our hospitality. John treated our house like it was his own personal man cave, leaving trash everywhere and never helping with chores. Sarah wasn't much better. She kept borrowing things from our kitchen and bathroom without asking and never replaced anything. Our guest room looked like a tornado hit it when they finally left. The worst part? They had two kids, 5 and 7 at the time, and while I get that kids can be a handful, they were out of control. They would run through the house at all hours, break things, and scream over every little disagreement. My wife and I repeatedly asked John and Sarah to rein their kids in, but it always fell on deaf ears. After they moved out, it took us weeks to clean up the mess they left behind, and we even had to replace some broken furniture. My wife apologized, and we agreed that we wouldn't put ourselves through that again. Fast forward to now, John and Sarah are once again having issues and asked if they could stay with us for a little while they figure things out again. My wife immediately said yes, but I put my foot down and said absolutely not. I reminded her of the disaster that was their last stay and told her I wasn't willing to go through that again, especially since they hadn't apologized or acknowledged how badly they treated our home the last time. My wife is upset, saying I'm being heartless and that family comes first. She thinks I should give them another chance and says I'm overreacting. But I feel like I'm just setting boundaries. We have two kids of our own, and I don't want them to have to deal with the chaos that John and Sarah always seem to bring. Now my wife is giving me the cold shoulder, and her family thinks I'm the bad guy for not helping out in a time of need. So IDA for refusing to let my in-laws stay with us after they trashed my house last time. Lower Leone says, family comes first. You're family too, right? Don't do it. I had a similar situation with a cousin. He left a terrible mess after he left. My partner talked me into letting him back, and for years later, I'm still mad about the mess he left and the way we were treated. NTA Alaboutbird says, NTA, you mutually agreed that this wouldn't happen again, and she decided to break that agreement by offering them a place to stay. It's your home, too. She's in the wrong. Lizab77 says, NTA, her family considers you are the bad guy. Why don't they help? They can give them money or take them in their house. Not enough place. One child with mummy in a house, the other with daddy in the other house. Problem solved. Not your problem. You helped them for 4 months, and you received nothing but a disaster. They were disrespectful, and you deserve better. It's a 2-yes situation, and you said no. So she can't let them come in. Maybe time to take a front door camera if you don't have one to record what happened in front of your home if she invites them when you're working. Just in case, story 2. AITA for taking over a family therapy session with my rant. I'm 16M currently in family therapy with my dad, his wife, my sister 14, and step-siblings 10, 9, and 7. This blended family thing is pretty new, still with my dad being remarried for 2 years. My mom died, so I only have one home. And I'll be honest, I was never excited or really into the whole blended family thing. But I know that's not my decision. All 3 of my step-siblings have food allergies, 2 have bad ones. So the way we eat change a lot. This included places we eat at that were a part of traditions. For most of my life, we'd eat at this local noodle bar in town for the end of the school year, and whenever we had a school thing play, graduation, report card, etc., and we're not allowed to go there anymore because of the allergies. Even just with Dad, it's a no-go. We can't bring ice cream into the house anymore because my step-siblings can't eat it. Only my dad and his wife can prepare food, so no more making a sandwich for myself either. Birthdays have changed. My sister and I can no longer eat at our preferred restaurant of choice because of my step-siblings, and we can't bring my favorite dish into the house either. So now it's a place that my step-siblings love and is acceptable for their allergies. For 2 years, Dad has talked about how glad we are to make all these changes and how family is worth it. About 4 months ago, his wife noticed my sister and I weren't engaged with the family in the way she thought we'd be. We didn't want to talk to her. She also noticed my sister had cut me and her out of some photos of all of us and used just me and her for her room's art wall. So she and Dad decided we needed some family therapy. Since we started about 2 months ago, officially, there has been a lot of what's the problem? Why are we there? Explain the problem. And my dad has also talked about all the good from a blended family and changes were mentioned, and he talks about how happy we all are to make them. Well, last week I got so sick of it, and the therapist asked me if I was truly okay with them. And I went off. I said, no, I'm not. That I hate the changes. That it's unfair. That I never said I wanted my step siblings to celebrate my birthday more than I wanted my favorite foods. That these things were decided for me. I said I never would have made that decision because celebrating with them isn't important to me. I'd rather have a good time with the people I love and enjoy food that I love instead. And that I hate not being able to make a sandwich or buy snacks after school. I basically went off for the whole session between a rant and answering questions the therapist put to me. My dad is so mad at me for doing it, and his wife was really upset because her kids heard it. But she was also upset because she accepted on some level I didn't want this ever. She's also kind of mad that I took up a whole session with my rant. Ida? Kiflington says, NTA at all you and your sister are the unhappy ones, so it's only natural that the focus will, at least initially, be disproportionately on the feelings of the two of you. Did your dad's wife expect the therapist would spend hours listening to her gushing about how happy she is that she's getting her way so much? Interesting underscore you underscore 2315 says, NTA. Your dad could have taken the time to have private dinners with you and your sister at favorite spots occasionally. It shouldn't always be about the blended family. And not allowing you to make a freaking sandwich when you are hungry is nuts. Remarkable Ground 66 says, ugh. Entitled parents. Kiddo, you're here, asking if you were wrong to use the therapy you were shoved into. No, sweetheart, you're not wrong for that, nor for any of your feelings around your stepfamily. It was not your choice for them to join your family. Had your father not pushed this, you likely would not have been as against this. It's not your fault you weren't considered in this life-changing choice. I do not believe you can tell your dad not to date, marry, or whatever. But your dad, likewise, cannot demand that you be okay with choices made without you. India. And your dad needs to back off unless he wants to lose you and your sister. Thanks for watching. I love you. Follow Reddit Echoes for more.